it was pretty obvious that there was a certain degree of racial profiling.
I see it in his eyes. It hurt him a lot. It was definitely like being shot like an animal.
I'm Darren Boyer. I'm a senior here at Texas Tech, and I'm a pre-med general studies major. Well, the mission of BLM is one that is difficult because a lot of people have a lot of different things. However, if you were to get people in a room and make them vote on what we were going to say BLM is to be geared towards, they would say it's for the holistic edification of the black community. It was started by genderqueer black females, black women, and it was a sense to their marginalization being of multiple different marginalized identities. They started this group with what they had in common was their blackness, and they started that to show that through all the things that black people go through, we need to come together and show our struggle so that we can show people what we're going through so they can be enlightened about it and then want to do better. What BLM means to me in a sense or two is that one, the black community in the United States is not treated with the respect that it deserves, and two, we are finally coming together in a focused effort to do something about it, both in the black community and extending out to allies of other racial identities. The sentiment that black people were to be slaves and secondary to a white person is still a sentiment that has not yet left. It just has changed its face. There were times, or maybe we can remember, and we're only in our 20s, that it was definitely not okay to be gay or even be an ally, or part of the LGBTQ community, or be an ally. And now that sentiment is growing widely, and it's becoming more okay to be okay with these type of things and less okay to not. And that's what I see. The population is going to shift from anti to pro, or sometimes even some people will compromise and say that I just want people to be indifferent.
My name is Caleb Morris. I'm a sophomore English major, minoring in secondary education. I'm from Arlington, Texas. At Texas Tech University, I serve as the Black Student Association's Public Relations Chair and also the President of Collegiate 100. Black Lives Matter is so important to me because I really do truly feel that it's the revolution of our generation and it's the movement of our generation. You know, like when we're growing up in school, we hear about these civil rights movements, and that's great, and it's impacted us and it's brought us to where we are now. But I really do believe Black Lives Matter is the cry of now. It's our voice for now, and it's something that we can directly identify with, the youth, and say, you know, I was alive when this movement happened. It says that no matter, you know, the pigment or the melanin in my skin, or, you know, no matter the strife and adversity and struggles that we go through as black men and black women, there's no law enforcement, there's no politician, there's no racist or anybody who doesn't identify with being black that can take away our blackness, that can take away the rights that we do have. So I really do think it's important because it's something that we can say that we were alive to see, and something that we could say we're alive to be a part of. I think people have this common misconception that being pro-black is anti-white, or being anti-non-black, or anti any other person of color or race, but Black Lives Matter and being pro-black is loving who you are, embracing your culture, standing up for your rights, standing up for things that you feel like aren't there. Dr. Michael Eric Dyson, he was at Texas Tech University just yesterday, and he had a lecture series, and he calls the U.S. The United States of amnesia. I think a lot of times we forget that the sad reality is that racism is what this country was built on. Slavery was what this country was built on, and it is always, and no matter how many times you try to forget it or sweep it under the rug or act like there aren't people out there, it's there. It's always been there, and I think it's always maintained a prevalence in society. I don't think, you know, my ancestors would want me to say that it will never get better, because we have more than what we had before. But at the same time, I think it's also naive of me to say that in the near future, or even while I'm alive, that racism will be eradicated. So.